All right. Now, hopefully, I had sound issues the other day, and hopefully, I don't today, because I have a guest on Facebook Live today. My name's Stacy Braiuca, and entrepreneurs hire me to help leverage automation because most are tasking manually, have things all over the place, and don't know where to put their systems in place or what technology they can use to get more done in less time. So I help them with systems and processes and connections to help them get more leads, have time to close their sales, and generally make more money. So bottom line is you've got to automate to liberate. Got to automate your stuff. And today I have a guest, Bill Simmons. He's coming to us from the East Coast, and he has this amazing challenge. It's this week or next week?
Actually launched this morning, so people can
So
still get in on it right now.
the
Yeah.
challenge launched this morning, and it is a challenge of what do you need intrinsically within yourself to build a dream team for those things that maybe you can't automate them and they're not really in your passion wheelhouse, but they're things you really need to delegate. But first, we need to look inside ourselves and our own vision. So I'll let Bill tell you about his awesome challenge for this week.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate it, Stacey. Thank you for allowing me to be with you today and to share our story. It's really interesting to hear your story and to understand the people that you're influencing. And I'm grateful for the people who are watching here today. I just have a real passion to come alongside entrepreneurs, business leaders, to help them execute their vision, and more specifically, to build a team to help execute their vision. And so part of our challenge, and we'll talk a little bit more about that even at the end of our interview, but we really want to talk about how to build your virtual dream team. And I just think it starts with the power of vision. And so, our topic a little bit today will be about vision, but it really starts there. You can't even have a dream team if you don't have a vision of having a quality dream team.
That's true. I think everything really intrinsically, when you're in business for yourself, one of the most exciting things, but also one of the scariest things, is that everything starts inside ourselves.
Yes.
It's exciting because you get to do what you want to do and the things you're good at. But sometimes nailing that jello to the wall to figure out exactly what those things are and where you want to go and how to verbalize them,
Mm-hmm.
that right there is a challenge. Like figuring out, nailing that vision jello to the wall, I think is sometimes a challenge in itself. So could you talk about maybe like why the vision is such a big deal in and of itself, and maybe even speak to how do you get that vision nailed down that way?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. And I love having those kinds of conversations with leaders, right? But well, the first question that I would ask when we start thinking about vision being a big deal is, if I was to ask your entire audience, and I think you know your audience really well, so I'm going to ask you to even answer on their behalf. But if I was to say, hey, everybody, who here feels like you're meant to be a part of something bigger than yourself?
Mm.
It, it,
I think I'd have lots of hands raised on that one.
Right? So here's my deal, Stacy. My thinking is, if you have a vision that's bigger than yourself, if you feel you're meant to be part of something bigger than yourself, then fundamentally it requires more than yourself.
Mm.
Right? Like, just pause for that. Like, that's a moment, right?
Well, and it brings to mind the whole concept of, or several concepts. One, taking a village to quote unquote raise a child. It takes a village to raise a business. And then
Mm-hmm.
also the concept of no man being an island. You can't just because you're in business for yourself doesn't mean you have to be by yourself. And
Absolutely.
I think that's a trap that many people who go into business for themselves fall into, is that they have to do everything on their own. And it's
Which
not
is
possible.
One of the things that yeah, you're with it. You're getting me excited, Stacey. so So let's even talk about terms we use, right? And I get them. I'm not hating on them. Like when we start describing ourselves as business owners, we'll use words like self-employed or business owner. We even have coined these fashionable phrases like solopreneur,
Solopreneur.
mompreneur, and find out whatever word you want and make it up with preneur at the end, right?
Right.
So here's the deal. I don't even like that term solopreneur because the moment I hear solo, it means by myself on my own. And there's a bunch of things that I want to disrupt about that topic. Number one, you already know your vision is bigger than yourself, so solo is not enough.
Solo's not an option.
Right? It's just not. It just can't be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand time, money, talent. There's going to be challenges in the startup phase, but we have to a vision is about our preferred destination. Mm-hmm. We have to know where we're going and not get. How many solopreneurs do you know that had gotten stuck in that stage to only get burnt out and frustrated, right?
Mm-hmm. Before they even get started.
Yeah, and so we want to really come to a place where we help you understand that big vision is bigger than you, and the reason is when you're clear on that vision, it's going to clarify action, and action is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Because when you're doing the right things, right, that's action. When you're doing the right things, you get the right results. Mm-hmm. And so when my vision is clearly taking me where I want to go, a lot of my actions are even decided before I get there, right? Because my vision dictates what I'm going to do when the opportunity arises. Mm-hmm. So let's use vacation as an example. Let's say somehow I could talk my wife and, hey, let's go on vacation this Saturday. And she says, well, where are we going? I said, secret. I really, and what she doesn't know is that I really don't know. But somehow I have been able to convince her to pack a bag. And we're getting in the car Saturday morning, we're in my driveway, but because I have no clarity of where I'm going, when does the problem start?
Well before you left.
Right? Like we're already in trouble, right? We have no idea. I can't even pull out of the driveway because I don't know where I'm going. Now, if I already know, like I live in Greenville, South Carolina, if I'm going to go to Orlando, Florida, well, guess what I know? That's south of me, mm-hmm. Right? And so there are certain highways that the moment I get to that highway, there's no struggle on what I'm going to do, the action I'm going to take, because my destination has clarified my action. If that's where I'm going, this is what I do. And I think we have too many entrepreneurs that don't know what to do when they get to certain intersections because they are not clear on where they're going. Mm-hmm. And so vision is a big deal.
And I think that's an important thing. Vision is super important, but it also is. I do think that there are you've got to have. Sometimes you have to have another mind to bounce your things off of to be able to clarify your own vision.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not just it taking a team to do the work, but sometimes it takes a team to clarify the vision that comes out of, it may come out of your one mind, but that doesn't mean that having another group of like-minded people to bounce that off of and clarify it is not, that's vital. And I think groups, business co-working groups are a good place for that kind of thing.
You're speaking my language, Stacy. So when I think about building a virtual dream team, I do think about the people who are members of my team that are part of Thrive Business Strategies. But I also think about the coaches that I hire. Matter of fact, by the way, I always tell people, don't hire a coach who doesn't have a coach. Right?
Or who has never had a coach.
Right? And so I'm also in mastermind groups. I know there's a variety of mastermind models out there. But we offer those things, right? So I provide strategy coaching for clients. I provide virtual CLO services and masterminding. And what I don't want people to feel like is they're just hiring us. No, we now become a part of your team to help you execute your vision, right? And so you're right up my alley there when you're thinking, when you're a part of groups like that, they should be extensions of your team.
Yeah. And really, if you build those relationships, even with other businesses, as team members, you know, where collaboration and cooperation and, you know, I think one of the place where we got connected is a group called JVology, and one of the first pieces of that is I'll go first, and it's also built on those relationships. And I think if you build relationships with other businesses, you never know what you might come up with.
Yeah.
One thing that came out of that very group is a group of 8 people who are putting together a summit for November. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Empowered Women's Summit. It's going to happen in November, and it's 8 JVology partners that just happened to meet, and, you know, it's okay, let's become a team of our individual selves, and let's put together our resources and build something bigger than ourselves. And the process has become amazing, and it's because now, did we have to solidify our group's vision? Yes. Has that been an interesting process? Very much so. But when you have a group of people who are like-minded, who also respect each other and want to do something good in the world, you're going to come up with a good vision. And I just, when you were talking, that my involvement in that group came brilliantly to light, because it's like, it's a great example of not just building individual visions, but we're literally building a vision of this project that was totally outside of all of ourselves. We wouldn't even have thought of it had we not come together. Yeah. And so you just, I think what I'm meaning, you know, where I'm going with that, the destination I have with that saying it is, sometimes you don't know where your destination is entirely, but you know what we each knew we had a vision to do something bigger than ourselves in empowering health, you know. So that's been a really interesting group to be involved in.
That's awesome. Yeah, it starts there.
Yeah, so it's that kind of vision. So let's, you know, in talking about how groups kind of, my background in social work, we talk about groups going through process of forming, storming, norming, and conforming. And, you know, if anybody knows group theory, that's how that goes. But and sometimes if you get stuck in that storming portion, it can really, you know, cause an issue. So let's go back on vision and talk about what things limit people's vision. What things get in the way? What blinders do we have?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, I think part of it is if you're not careful, your business can be driven by other things, right? And when a business is not driven by vision, I look at 3 main things that might drive it, and as a result, limit it. It's actually, I call them the 3 F's. So, so there's 3 F's that I think limit vision and for a business to really progress. One is finances, one is fear, and one is fame. And so we just kind of unpack that for a few minutes. So, you know, obviously we're all in business to make money, unapologetically, right? Like, I start my business to make money. Now,
got to pay the bills.
Right? No, and nobody likes anybody greedy, though, right?
Yeah.
And so what I find is that when I do business with people, that the vibe that I pick up is that it's primarily driven around money and finances, that limits a vision. I actually find that when I am more interested in serving, greater abundance of revenue actually flows into my business. And I've got story after story that I could talk about. But because I have a vision that says, you know, one of my statements is that I am wired to serve the vision and values of others. Like that's one of the reasons that I exist. How can I help serve your vision and values in your business? It's not my vision and values for your business, your vision and values for your business. And so that focusing on something bigger than myself actually has attracted more finances to me. But when I'm so focused on money, it actually limits my vision. And so you got to be careful with that. I could talk a long time, but I want to get through these three. So the first one's finances. The second one is fear, right? A lot of people are going to limit the vision and potential of their business by fear. And that fear comes in a lot of formats. And you have done a lot of social work. A lot of people who are listening to this have probably done social work. And honestly, let's be honest, you're probably 80, maybe 90% of what you do is help somebody manage their fears, right?
However, that being said, it's also interesting as a business owner in general, even knowing what I know and knew about fear and those things. You think that stopped me from having my own fears and having to deal with imposter syndrome myself? Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, creeps in. The messages come to our head.
We are all human. We all have emotions, and if somebody tells me they've not had fear or not had emotions about something, I'm going to question that, because if you don't have intensity of emotions around things, then I'm actually going to be more worried about you than I am somebody who has had that emotion of fear.
Because fear is not all bad, right? Sometimes fear can motivate us to be wise in certain situations, right?
It's built in for a purpose. I mean, it has a purpose.
But when it paralyzes our progress, it's a problem.
Right.
So that's when I say you got to punch fear in the throat, right? Because you don't want it to limit the potential of your progress. And so I think finances can limit us in our vision if we're not careful. I think fear can limit us in our vision if we're not careful. I also think fame. And what I mean by that is if we have entered into the entrepreneurial journey with kind of an egocentric mindset, it's going to bite you in the butt. I know all kinds of people who can market and make themselves look really good, but they deliver a lousy service. I'm not trying to be mean, but they've got this vision of a business they want to be, but all they have is a presentation, not a foundation. Right? And what we want to do is not let ego get in the way, nor do we want to do things in an effort to prove somebody, right? You don't need to prove anything to your daddy. You don't need to prove anything to that ex-wife. You don't need to prove anything to that boss that fired you 10 years ago. Your vision should be bigger than trying to prove to somebody from the past what you can do now. Right?
Which I think, in a way, you just spoke to that fear again, in an extent. I'll reference my first business coach. Her name's Vicki Fitch, and one of her books is called Evict the Bully in Your Head. And it's because of those bullies in your head that cause that fear and those emotions that paralyze you from moving forward. And some of those are that old boss or a parent or an ex-spouse or this or that who get in your head because they've planted that bully seed way back in there. And if you don't have a way to get that out, which kind of speaks to something you and I had talked about if you are working with somebody who is a coach or a mentor or a potential business, even a potential business partner to work with, if they haven't worked with somebody themselves in going through that growth process, then one of you is at a disadvantage. I'm not going to say which one, and I'm not going to, whatever, but I wholeheartedly believe in coaching and peer coaching even. Because, again, we're coming right back to, it takes more than just one person. It's not solopreneur.
Yeah, that dream team of people around you, and some of them are paid and some of them are just invested. And what I mean, and sometimes they've invested money, but they've invested relationships, right? They've invested referrals, opportunities, whatever it might be. And they bring great value to it. And so you really you don't let that egocentric, fame-focused type thing get that it's all about me, right? Because that's the thing, right? It's all about me. Because it's really not. My vision is bigger than just finances. My vision is bigger than my fears. My vision is bigger than my fame. Now let's think about that for a second. Do I sometimes have to work through financial issues? to get to my vision.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Do I have to work through my fears to experience the vision that I want to?
Mm-hmm.
And will I need to address my ego and my fame in order to get to where I'm going? Absolutely. Just don't allow those three to limit you.
Yeah. I mean, you got to work through finances because life. You've got to work through the fear because it's any kinds of fear is probably never going to truly go away or be cured. Those emotions, again, if you don't have emotions, then I'm not sure if you're human. If you pinch yourself and it hurts, okay. But if you pinch yourself on the inside with that fear and it hurt or it doesn't hurt, then I'm worried. You've got some work to do in that. And then with the ego, we've got to put our egos in check and think about, to me, who not just the vision is bigger than that, but you have to always remember, who is it you're serving. Mm-hmm. I'm serving my clients and my future clients.
Yep.
And you have to come from, we really have to come from that service perspective to do good work to do good work. Just to do good things is coming from that service perspective. Yeah. So, let's look at really quick. What's the secret to executing that vision? What's the secret to moving forward?
Oh, well, so to me, execution. I love that word. Results are a big deal to me, so I'm always about results. And in fact, the name of my mastermind is Big Results Mastermind. The name of my Facebook group is Entrepreneurs Who Get Results, right? So execution and results are certainly a big deal to me. And to me, if you're going to have a vision that you really execute, it really comes down to absolutely turning it around from the beginning. You have to have a team. And I think it's very important that as leaders, we understand the mindset of what it really means to leverage the gifts of other people. I don't have to be the all in all for my business. I should only be operating in the zone of my genius. Those things are life-giving to me. Those things that I'm the rainmaker of. And when I mean rainmaker, it doesn't always have to mean the money making. It's just that, man, when I do that, it flows, right? I'm doing the right things at the right time. And so I've got to leverage the gifts of other people. Now, sometimes that gets scary depending on the phase of your business. And when it comes time, when is the right time to hire somebody? If you're in a smaller business, you don't even have to hire somebody full time. I know in my business, I have 3 members of just my marketing team, none of whom work full time, but they all have limited hours, but they do different things because they're leveraging their gifts, right? So I have a marketing manager who oversees all of our technology and making sure that we are able to digitally and online do the things that we need to do. I have a marketing assistant that helps me manage all my stuff on Facebook, and in fact manages some of my clients' Facebook stuff as well. And so that works out really well. Then I have somebody who's a copywriter, because I don't know if you can tell, Stacy, but I'm a verbal communicator.
I am right there with you. I am total, like, give me some bullet points and I can talk, and I can write, but my writing is academic. I've lived in the academia world too long, and writing copy is just beyond me. So I that's totally the whole, when you said leverage, and that's some of the first hiring I've ever done for part-time project-centered people is to do copy. Eventually, a dream for me is hire somebody to do all of my accounting so I don't have to worry about it.
Where I am right now? I am sitting in one of my clients' office because I'm not at home. So we the timing of this, it's a CPA firm. And so I can hook you up right now through this door.
There you go. But those are some of the things, you go into business because you want to do this passion thing. And so for me, right now, I don't know if I think I'm launching the Automation Academy, which is a 6-month coaching intensive of 2 masterminds a month, plus 2 2-hour masterminds every month a private group, a private membership area with worksheets and videos and learning, a private Facebook group, and a couple of one-on-one sessions where we go through and look at what things do you automate, what things do you delegate, which is the hiring thing that you're doing. Okay, so that's the piece that you guys fit right in that piece. And then so that you can work on your passion projects. So like you said, you can work on the rainmaker, your passion, your wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's left then is because we all go into business to have more time for ourselves and our families and self-care, but guess what? We don't do it. So it's how are you going to find the time and the ways to do self-care? So it's interesting that we're both launching these things at the same time.
Yeah, it's awesome. Very serendipitous, right? Because the need is there. So when you think about, really executing your vision, you have that team, right? And so the team sometimes are people that you will hire for permanently, part-time, by a project, but you also need coaches and masterminds and business advisors who are around you that present themselves as a part of your team, right? That's my approach. I think that's your approach. What can we do to be a member of your team? The last thing you need to do is invest in another course, another program, another Zoom call. It has to be something that's actually going to build my business,
right,
and help me execute my vision. If that's really going to happen, I think that's why people should connect with people like us, because we want to be a part of your team. Leverage our gifts, right? Leverage our gifts to help grow your business.
Right. You've gotta those things that and some of that, it starts with vision, like you said, and then it goes down to, okay, get down to the nitty. What I do is helping people get down to the nitty gritty of, okay, what are those lists of things and where do they fall? Do they fall in automation, delegation, passion, or self-care? And if they fall in delegation, I'm going to say, okay, then we need to go talk to Bill about where, what he can bring into this partnership. And then if it's in passion, maybe we need to go talk to another person, maybe my previous business coach, Vicky, so that she can help you define that vision, or Bill's got somebody who he can outsource to, it's
Sure.
The whole, it's a web of entrepreneurial productivity, really. Maybe productivity is not even the best word, because it's also a web of support, and you don't know what's going to happen when you connect.
Well, I think what it comes down to is you have to believe in convergences. And so when I work with clients, I'm always talking about my gift is I fly at 50,000 feet and I can see how everything interconnects. And so if we can have this element working in your business, we can have this element working in your business, and this element working in your business, even some of your staff don't understand, like, why are we doing this and why are we doing that? But what happens is the convergence is keep doing this, and then all of a sudden, somewhere down the way, all three of these things are going to interconnect. And when they collide and when they converge, business growth happens, revenue increases, new talent comes on your team. All of those things happen as we begin. And what we don't want to do is quit too early, complain too soon, and keep us from getting to that convergence.
Like having one of those F's get in your way.
True story.
Definitely. So tell us about is it the 5-day challenge?
Yes.
5 days this week. What's going on?
Yeah. So again, I have a real passion for helping entrepreneurs do the kind of work it takes to attract a dream team. So certainly we want to hire a dream team, and I've got some tools that can really help you hire right, know what to do, especially if you've done it, if you've had some hard times and have the scars and stories to prove it. We want to help you be able to get on the other side of that. But really we wanted to start with you. What does it take for me to be the entrepreneurial leader I need to be to attract my dream team? And so the 5-day challenge is very simple. We're doing bite-sized content. Each day is delivered in 7 minutes. I think the longest one day is 12 minutes. A few exercises that you can engage with in our Facebook group. It's complimentary. It's free. And honestly, I think it's really high value, and I think it's delivered really well. So when you see it, I'd love to get your feedback. I even just think aesthetically, it just looks good. And so,
That's always a good thing.
so we're just very proud of that.
Yeah.
It's called the 5-Day Build Your Dream Team Challenge. I think you've put a link in here. If not, we can put it in the discussion group.
Right below you on the video, it's Build Your Virtual Dream Team Challenge with Bill Simmons. It's got your name right there. And then
Awesome.
there's a link in the description to get in the challenge. And
Yeah. So get in it today. You could, if you didn't register for the next couple of days, you could still get in it. But get in it today, because today's actually our first day. It's launched this morning, and so it's definitely not too late to get started, get involved. Click that link right now. Come be a part of our community. Let's have a great conversation that stretches us to be better entrepreneurs. Because I don't even need to know everybody who's seeing this, but I already know they have a vision bigger than themselves, and I'm confident we can help you not only reach that vision, might even challenge you to say you're not thinking big enough.
and I'll add to that every 5-day challenge I have personally been involved with, even if I didn't wasn't able to participate at the level I really would want to that time. I always meet a new individual. I always learn a new tidbit or fact. And even if it's you circle back around later to meet somebody again, I have not had a challenge where there's not been some value. But I also know that people who are in the challenges or do challenges that are out of this group of people who come at it from that area of service, free and huge value and service all in one place, so that's what I know is going to be in your challenge.
Well, we actually think the content's so good that some of the people who went through the beta said, I know that it's standard at the end of the 5 days. They normally let it linger for like 2 more days to be available, and then it shuts down. You can't get it anymore. And I had people saying, no, I want this to listen to it more and more. And so I may be crazy, Stacy, but actually, if somebody wants to buy the content for this week, it's only like $27. So it's like, no, it's nothing. So we think it's going to be something you get value in real time. But if you want to keep it and go back to it, we think it's good enough.
That's like what, a week's worth of Starbucks?
Got it.
I mean, maybe not even that.
Yeah.
Skip the Starbucks for a week and buy the content. That's a great deal. So you guys can find the challenge, Bill's challenge, in the link in this. Tag him in any questions down in the comments, because if he doesn't catch the question, I will make sure that he gets the question, and I'll bug him until he answers it. Although I don't think I'll have to bug him that far. But I really appreciated having you on this morning to be able to do this interview, and I look forward to us connecting and doing some more work between your challenge and the Academy, because you've got pieces that fit right in there.
Absolutely. Well, we're here to serve. Is there anything we can do, let us know.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day over there in the East Coast, and we're going to probably end up with another Midwest humid day here.
Enjoy.
All right. See you later.